think actually from the exchange with the people, I realize when I walk away from the stage in the evening, I always feel rejuvenated, even if on the one hand can be tired because one has given everything one had at that moment, but you get so much back. We know so little about that phenomenon and energy between people, but that is so important, and it's mysterious and it's magical, and it is a great strength, I think, that makes humanity what it is or what it can be in the best of cases. I can't silence it, but I don't try to silence it either. I mean, in a way, it's an integral part of the silence, which is itself music. And so it's a beautiful presence. I can't even really tell you in which moments, perhaps only very rarely and very briefly in my interaction with animals. Otherwise, where there I get completely absorbed, but otherwise music is always there, it's always playing in the back of the head. I've always had a special relationship with the German Romantics, and I suppose it's like in life, you can't explain chemistry. It is what it is. It's hard to define with words, but these are worlds within which I feel I can express what the composer intended, and those original friendships have never they've evolved, but they've never diminished in importance, and they will always be with me until the end. Those are my most important partners, yes. There's something very wholesome about Brahms's music. The timing of it, in the sense that, I don't know if you've noticed, but with Brahms, fast movements, no matter how agile, never feel rushed, and slow movements never really feel that slow or never static. There's something which I find very close to the human heartbeat, pulsation, and something about the expression which is incredibly both wholesome and poignant. There's something that levels everything when you listen to his music. And as I think with all the major composers, this sense of belonging also, which it gives when you're at the contact of their music. They help you feel like you belong to this world, probably through their humanity, their ability to connect to the human soul and to the best that it has to express. When people listen to this music, I think that's one of the things that they react to, is it helps you be the best of your potential, give the best of what you are. The Wolf Center is an organization that I co-founded many, many years ago, and it's doing remarkably well. It's a very important mission, and it's about the environment, and it's about biodiversity and the wolf as a keystone species, as an umbrella species, and about the world that we leave for future generations. Nature is, for me, it's the ultimate muse for all creators. It's always a source of inspiration, I think, for all of us, where you can resource yourself and find your inner calm. And nature is the ultimate muse. You know, I often talked about that with my predilection for the German Romantic movement, this idea, already starting with Novalis, that all disciplines of our existence take root in a global intuition. And this is, it's always an important space. And I wish for people to be able to reconnect themselves with that aspect of who they are, their true nature, Mother Earth. The music is pure, it's absolutely genuine, it does not pretend to be what it isn't, which seems silly to say, but it's unfortunately often the case. And it's deeply touching, it's transparent, it's extremely poetic. Actually, his music is poetry. And so it really touches people at their deepest. And there's something magical about the way he works with harmony, with melody, really gets under your skin, and it's very powerful music. Yes, I met him. I met him when I got to finally, for the first time, play with the wonderful Constantin Grimaud, the cycle, the silent song cycle. This was in August here in Berlin, am Stinitzsee, and it was a gift. It's always something so special to meet a composer. There's something so fragile about being in the presence of a creator. And it's both intimidating and wonderful. So, yeah, it was a very special moment.
Пока она только прикасается, вот тихие песни это наиболее, фундамент. А так-то в Ютубе я просто видел, там одна пьеса какая-нибудь или... Да, иногда она играла 4 постludies, по-моему, с оркестром. То есть она как бы очень осторожно прикасается, пока вот я не слышу, чтобы она целый цикл играла большой. Ну, кроме тихих песней, это действительно наиболее полное. Это. И в тихих песнях как раз мне, когда она играет там или вступление, или постludies, то мне как раз это нравится больше, чем когда она играет отдельные пьесы в Ютубе, когда, видимо, только она начинала.
I'm 53 and I started when I was 15. Made my first recording for Denon, Nippon Columbia, this all Rachmaninoff solo program. But let's say I started I started performing on a regular basis when I was 17. So yeah, it's been a long time. I think the driving force is it's passion, and it's also curiosity. So it is doing something you love, but it's also all of the adventure that comes with every new encounter and every new rehearsal and concert. And that's what keeps us at it, I think, is there's always that element of unknown, of transformation, of possibilities. No, unfortunately not. No, because Mozart is a true genius and a true Wunderkind, which I never was. Yeah, his music is still, to this day, intimidating somehow. It's one of the most difficult, because it is so sublime, transcendent, it comes from somewhere else, and yeah, it always remains a challenge. One also has to accept that it's not always just a smooth progression. You know, you reach certain thresholds, and then you might go through difficult phases at times, and then you just have to see yourself through the other side of that, and just embrace those moments of doubts or weakness, and through the exchange with others, through introspection, but also exchange, you know, get to the next level. And I think what is really important is to never take anything for granted. And there is something very true about this profession when they say you're only as good as the last concert. So you can't ever rest on your laurels. And every practice session, every rehearsal is actually a lesson, because you always re-verify the fact that you know, music, there's so much depth to this great repertoire, and you don't really have enough of a lifetime to get to the bottom of it. And I don't even mean in terms of volume, but just with certain pieces that accompany you your life long. You always discover new things. It's really fascinating.